Well, this is a total blast for me. I get to play bass with Ray Luzier. While you're playing drums, I'm playing bass. It's totally cool. So, that little groove that you heard me play, what was the first thing that kind of came to your mind as far as a drum part? Like did you even think about it? You just started grooving and see how it felt?
Yeah, I just heard that initial an initial thing a drummer usually thinks of is kick drum's gonna go I like to leave a little space sometimes, you know. So leave a little bit of room for that to breathe, you know. And then I just immediately, when you went to the lower note, I heard like a tom thing. I don't know why.
Right.
You know, so that was my initial first impression of it.
Let's try that one more time.
Sure.
With that in mind.
Yep.
3, 4. Yeah, that tom thing, like in the B section, the tom thing really sort of propels the whole thing forward for a second.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something like, it could be a typical thing. And sometimes, and then the second time we just did it, as I was doing the tom thing, I heard like maybe an open hi-hats to let it open up, you know, depending on what the vocals are doing.
Sure,
we don't know. It's just
us, right?
Just
Jamming
me and you,
right now.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Thanks.
Let's do it one more time.
Sure.
Now that you have a little bit of an idea of what's going on.
Totally.
Let's see how it.
And I'll try a different kind of B section when you go to the lower note.
Okay.
And see what happens, you know.
All right, cool. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I'm kind of just messing around now, but you could do a total up bell right there.
Sure.
You know, the little tom kind of syncopated thing.
Yeah.
It's wide open right there, you know.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong. That tom thing that you were sort of putting in there in the B section, to me that sounds like a signature Ray Luzier sort of sound.
Oh, well, thanks.
Because I've heard that in a few other, like some Korn tunes, you do that where you kind of play off the toms. You really utilize the toms in your grooves quite a bit, don't you?
I love some people call it tribal. I don't know. I just call it like interspersing it to make the groove just to give it an extra little
extra spice or
something
some sauce,
interesting in there. So it's not just typical like let's open the hats, let's close the hats, you know. And in Korn's grooves, it's always kind of a funky thing. So even though it's a heavy band, if you notice, there's a lot of upbeats on the hi-hat, up eighth notes and up ride and maybe an up ozone or a China. You know?
And how long have you been playing with the tom on your left?
It's really weird. I started playing left-handed when I was little. You know, when I was probably 6 or 7, I saw the dude from the Beach Boys, and he had this, you know, his hats were way over here, and he just had this wide open, and I saw him, and I was like, I guess that's how you play. And it's really bizarre because then I started playing to Kiss and Ozzy and all my favorite records like that, and the hi-hats were substantially far over, a lot of real estate. And then I remember like my friends coming over going, dude, you're right-handed. You need to cross this. And I was like, wait, but you're going to hit the snare. And
having that ability to be able to play open-handed and to lead with your left hand has got to open up a whole world.
It really did, especially like playing in heavy bands like Korn and stuff. You'll notice, you know, it's just such a open feeling, you know. There's no, like, I feel like I'm not hindered, but there's some songs where I have more control over the groove when I cross.
Let's do one more quick thing. I came up with this little bass line that's in 11. I just want to see how you react to it and what you come up with.
Okay, cool.
Sort of like we just did on that one, but this one's going to be in 11.
It's an 11.
It's an 11.
It's an 11.
It goes to 11.
I screwed it up. so I'm now, what I did before, it doesn't match with that, the 6 count.
Right.
Let me count it. Play it. Let me count something. So
It'd be great if I could stump you just this much.
Yeah,
Okay.
oh, yeah.
So it's 6 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just start with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know why, but I'm leaving out I'm hearing that a skip in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And the one is not necessarily hitting in the middle part of it, but I still hear that pattern, you know?
Right.
Let me do something a little different.
Okay.
Now that it's in my head.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know. I'm still hearing that. There's a eighth note kind of pulse thing going on.
Sure.
But that's a cool turnaround. I like it.
Cool.
What if I played through that? Would it work?
Try it.
Try it. Yes. Go for it.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, I skipped. I followed you too much because I saw your turnaround and
Right.
I didn't plow through it. But
So when someone sends you something, because you're doing a lot of remote recording and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and people sending you tracks at home, someone sends you something difficult or just odd.
yeah,
What's your thought process into going into something that's just not in 4?
yeah, I analyze stuff pretty good. Like as far as I'm one of those guys where I have to feel it I have to memorize it.
Totally,
I'm not
yeah.
really a big chart guy. I can do charts.
Right.
I like writing stuff out if it's an insanely hard piece, and
Sure.
I will do that. But very rarely will you ever catch me with a 6-page chart in front of me. I listen to this. I have to absorb it in my brain. Like.
Right. So Ray, you get a great opportunity to play with a bunch of different kinds of bass players.
Yeah.
Different styles, feels, all that kind of stuff, just like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So how do you lock into different players like that?
Yeah, so my main band is of course Korn, and Fieldy is a very percussive bass player.
Sure.
You know, he's so far removed from someone like Billy Sheehan, which I've done his last 2 solo records.
Totally.
Which is way different than Doug Pinnick, which I did 3 KXM records with him and a side band with him. I love that, how different all 3 of their feels are. They're 3 of my main bass players that I play with on a regular basis.
No,
And,
that's 3 really sick bass players.
yeah, and they're so unique. You know, It's
Totally.
like Fieldy is it's all percussion. It's a slappy 5-string, low end. You know, I remember like when I joined Korn in 2007, I remember him going like, "Don't follow me, man." He literally said, I go, "What do you mean by that?" He goes, "You do your thing, I'm going to do my thing." And I was like, wow.
But somehow it comes together, it gels together.
It does come
perfectly.
together,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's got this percussive thing that he does, and there's a lot of holes where my kick will be hitting by itself, and all of a sudden I'll hear bass, and we play off of each other like that. You know, Pinnick and I, Doug Pinnick from King's X and of course KXM, he's got such a cool. He plays left-handed for one thing, and he's got such a growl
And he holds the bass like way down.
Yeah, the guy's arms are like 7 feet, you know. And Billy's, as everybody knows, how aggressive and progressive he is, and the attack he has. And you know, my advice to drummers out there is like really embrace who you're playing with. You know,
Yeah.
You got to communicate for that song to sound great. You know, I don't care if it's a simple 4 on the floor thing and you're playing 8th notes.
Well, thanks so much, man. This has been a blast playing with you.
Thanks for having
Can we
me.
just close it out on something simple?
Yeah.
Just go for it?
Let's do it.
I'll do like a little 6/8, well, it's a little bluesy sort of thing, and just
man.
kind of rock.
Bring it on.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I didn't know where you were. Fun, man.
Yeah, bud.